gotta keep the fire burning. Chase your dream, don't hesitate. Keep on dreaming, keep on yearning. Don't let the flame die while you wait.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of Artist Spotlight with Ralph. Tonight we welcome Ben Anderson back to the show.
Hey,
Ben,
Ralph.
pleasure to have you on, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, cool. We missed a few things the last time around, so
Just a few.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna get the whole thing tonight, and that'll
Awesome.
work out fine.
That's right.
If you hadn't joined us the last time, we had some technical difficulties, and the show shut down a little bit earlier than it was supposed to, and we couldn't get Ben back, so we had to kind of walk away from it. And of course, you know what we did up until that point was awesome,
Yeah.
but I just felt like we didn't get enough of Ben, so we needed to get him back on the show, and so
Well, thank
here he
you for
is.
that. I'm happy to chat with you anytime, Ralph.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you, and I see you've been working on some new stuff.
I am. I was in the studio with Jason Rifa. I was in the studio with him down at in Bethlehem at Freestone, and really I was working with him and a couple other local musicians, Anthony Covage, Neil Grover, Nick Capizzolo, and the five of us just sat down and we worked on this single that I'm going to be putting out. And actually, we're in the process of mastering it now. So that should be getting released within the next month, is kind of what I'm thinking. But that single I'm going to use to help launch a crowdfunding campaign to launch my album.
Cool.
As you know, I mean, recording is so expensive, man. So it's written, especially as a solo artist, you know, unless you have the equipment and the know-how to do it yourself. I mean, it's really expensive, and unfortunately, I have neither.
Yeah.
I'm not very technical. I'm just good at playing.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Don't have the equipment. Wouldn't have the clue what to do really, especially
Right.
when it comes to mixing and mastering. So
I know.
you know,
Yeah.
that's why we
good at
pay the
writing and
pros.
playing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I was looking at your YouTube channel and I saw you uploaded a newer video, like not long ago, I think.
No, not too long ago. So I released a couple of older singles of mine. There's a song called "The Sailor" that I wrote, 2004. And I really liked the song. And, you know, I shared it a lot back then. But as you know, I mean, the music market has changed dramatically since
Right.
the early 2000s. So,
Yeah.
so I thought, okay, well, you know, I'm going to go back. And actually, it was my father who suggested it. He's like, hey, why don't you release some of your older songs? Like, you know, let's put a video together for you. And so he helped me with that. And, yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. So I released that. Just, you know, another song of mine to show people, you know, because it's especially going back and listening, it's very different from what I'm writing today.
Yeah.
But there's still a little bit of that poppy kind of flair to it that, you know, it's still there, but it's very different from my current sound.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think the last time I looked at your YouTube channel, the main or the video that popped up first was Daughter of Mine, and I guess there's a couple of them that you uploaded after that. So
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and I plan on releasing a video for my single. The single, let's say, actually, I think I played it the last time I was here with you. It's a Tom Petty cover.
Okay.
I won't back down. So I'm gonna do a music video for that. My wife and I had a couple ideas of what we can do for that. So we're gonna record a video, and we'll use that for the marketing for the crowdfunding campaign.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you got for us tonight, man?
I got a few things. I think I'm gonna play one cover, and then I'll play a few originals. I think what I'm gonna start with first, I think, is another older song of mine. This one I wrote. Actually, I wrote it with my brother. I have an older brother who's a songwriter as well. He predominantly plays electric guitar, but he also sings. Great. and he plays in a band in Boston, a couple bands in Boston. And so this is a song we wrote in the early 2000s. It's a song called Fallen, but I've made a couple of different recordings of it. I've rearranged it a few times just to try to make it fit with today's style. But it's very much like a rock pop song. But I slowed it down a little bit on just some piano stuff. So I'm gonna give that a try.
Some falling tears, piercingly out of nowhere, pierces eyes. The moment I turn back, something got turning back. If I fall in, will you be the one to pick up my pieces? Some falling tears, piercing me out of nowhere, pierces eyes. When you're like this, I can't recognize your face anymore. If I fall in, you'd be the one to pick up my pieces. If I fall in, would you be the one to pick up my pieces? If I fall in, would you be the one to pick up my pieces?
Great stuff.
Thank you.
So one of the things we didn't talk about the last time you were on, you're talking about music that you wrote like way back in the early 2000s, and do you have stuff out from back then, or?
Not in digital formats. That's
Okay.
something I'm going to start to slowly work on. I have CDs. Funny enough, my parents recently found a bunch of boxes, and they're going through old stuff in their house, trying to clean everything out, and they came across some boxes of some old CDs of mine. So I have a couple dozen of CDs from like the early mid 2000s of stuff that I recorded. I recorded some songs in Albany when I was in college in Albany, New York. I recorded some stuff at a little analog studio in Bangor called Hilltop Studios. That was the first studio that I ever went to growing up. So when I was in high school, I would record with them there, a guy named Dave Mosca. And so I'd done some other stuff with him. And what I would say about analog recording, I love the sound you get out of an analog machine. But as you know, I mean, editing can be a nightmare. I mean, you can go back and record over, you can overdub things, but it's really hard to get to that digital sound and have those like nice clear cut editing capabilities that you have with software like Pro Tools or Logic, what have you. So it's definitely a different beat. I'm happier recording in the digital stuff today. Like when I've recorded with Anthony Cubbage doing some demo work with him, he uses Logic. Jason in Bethlehem, he uses Pro Tools. So it's nice with the simplicity of using a digital system.
Yeah. Yeah, things definitely have changed as far as you know, digital music and how things are recorded and how it sounds when it turns out. Definitely.
Oh, it's so different. You go back. I'll never forget. I studied music in college, and I remember learning about some of the old techniques, the things they would have to physically come up with to get the sounds that they wanted to get, like John Lennon putting a microphone inside a plastic bag inside another plastic bag filled with water to get that effect that he wanted for his vocals to make it sound like he wanted it, underwater. And like on a particular Michael Jackson record, I remember them feeding cables through a stairwell to get the reverb that they wanted to get. And using actual coils and stuff to get that reverb sound. They had to physically create it. And today, like, I can just I'll download this little package. I got some presets in there. I'll couple clicks and can play with the EQ a little bit, and you're there. It's so
yeah.
different.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot easier, I guess, in some respects.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's still something I don't know I'd want to mess with.
I'm the same way. I trust the professionals. Jason, you do
Yeah.
your thing, man. I'm not a producer. I'm certainly not an engineer. Whatever you think is going to work, I'm cool with.
Yeah, I'm certainly not independently wealthy, but when it comes to the recording, I think I'll pay somebody to do it.
I get you, man. Yeah, I'm certainly not independently wealthy. I do okay, but I do music on the side. I do it for fun. So for a solo artist, it can cost you like $1,000 to record a song, if not more.
Exactly.
It's a lot, and to put out an album, man, I don't have that kind of money.
Right.
So it's hard.
It is. Yep. And then for some of us, like, I know part of it was I'm using money from gigs and stuff to set aside some money for recording and everything, and then you get things canceled because of COVID and things snowed out, and the next thing you know, you're going, okay, well, I'm putting that recording off for another couple months, and
it's awful.
Yeah, it is what it is, though.
COVID, I think it's funny. The pandemic, I think, affected musicians a little differently depending on the type of musician that you were and the technical capabilities that you had. Because I know lots of musicians who have the recording gear themselves and know how to use it and can use it well. And so they found all this time to start working on writing and recording.
Right.
And then, from guys like us, it's like, okay, well, the money's not coming in, and we need that money to do other projects. So the projects then sit.
Yeah, exactly. And, you don't have to stop writing, but you certainly can't keep recording if you don't have the money to do it. So
exactly. Yeah, it's hard.
Maybe one of these days I'll just teach myself how to run.
I keep telling myself the same thing, and then I think, I don't have the time for it.
Yeah. When are you going to find the time to do it, right?
Exactly.
We don't always have that kind of time either, so.
Yeah, no.
So what are you going to play for us next?
I think I'm going to play my most recent song. So this song kind of came to me one day, and I really liked the riff that it came up with, and I just needed to find a melody, a vocal melody to go with it, and as soon as I did, it just the rest of it kind of clicked together. Just a fun, upbeat pop rock song that I hope to record. I want to feature it on the album, once I'm able to fund that, because I'm really happy with this one. So this is called "Got Me Where You Want Me."
Cool.
Lately, been thinking about you, I'm acting crazy. Yeah, it's so hazy. I got my mind stuck on you, baby. You're moving away, you're chasing, drawing a line on vacant. I just gotta get to you. For me, don't chase it, quit drawing a line and take it, 'cause I'm holding on to you. Will we be together? Can it be forever? my goodbye. Ooh, now it's coming upon me, baby. The rhythm that drives me crazy. And my back's against the wall. Come on, give it all. When we be together, can it be forever? Because you got me where you want me, girl. Can it be forever? Can we stay together? Because you got it, girl. I'm coming home to you.
Yeah, that needs to be on the album.
Thanks, man.
Definitely. I like it. Like it a lot.
Thanks. Yeah, every now and then, you write a song and everything clicks and you're like, okay, yeah, I think I got something here. I don't always feel that way when I write songs. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes there are some songs that you write that you're like, okay, I'm satisfied with this. Like, I don't know what else I could do with this song. I think it's okay. But then there's another song that you're like, oh shit, I love this song. I think this song has something.
Yeah. That's funny. I have a younger brother who is not musically inclined at all, and he really doesn't. He's into martial arts, and unless you're talking about martial arts, then he really doesn't have time to talk about anything else.
Okay, that's fair.
One of those things, but he enjoys music, and it seems to me like every time I write a song that I feel like it's coming out good, I'm really getting a good feel out of this. He'll listen to it and go, "Oh my God, you need to keep writing stuff like that."
Yeah,
it's weird, and every song he said that about so far has actually done well. So it's like, all right, supposedly you're not musically inclined, but I guess you have a good ear for what people want to listen to. I don't know. Because,
right?
It's like I just wrote a song recently, and I was down to visit him for over Easter weekend, and I played the song for him, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's a hit! You got to keep playing that." I'm like, "Okay,
that's good,
cool."
It's a good thing to hear. Yeah, I run everything past my wife. I mean, she's always the first person to hear anything that I do, and and fortunately, since I started writing music again the last few years, not quite every song, but like every other song that I write, I play for her, and she's like, you got that's like that. Something's working for you. You just got to keep on writing. And she's, and she says, everything that I've been writing recently, and like every song just gets better than the last one, which I think is great. Because always want to improve on what you've done before. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, definitely. And you're going to come up with those ones that you work on, and then you go, yeah, that's going in the trash can. I'm
exactly, yeah. And I'm sure you probably agree, but like I find that my best material are the ones that take almost no effort to write.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The ones you have to really think about and really, really put. There's been some stuff that I've written, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to play that song again.
Right.
And then, a couple of years later, I go, I have an idea, and maybe it'll work with this song. And and it changes the whole dynamic, and
Yeah.
so then you get something out of it. But yeah, for the most part, when you go, I'm never going to play this song again, you usually don't.
No, you're right. Yeah, there have been a couple songs that I've written over the last year, so that's like 2 or 3 songs that I've written, and I maybe recorded, like I maybe did a video of me playing them live and put them on Instagram or Facebook or something, and I never played them again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. When I first started becoming familiar with you, I hadn't met you yet, and I saw you online a couple times, and it seemed like every time I saw you, you were doing covers, and I was like, oh man, this guy, very talented, got a great voice, but he's doing covers, and I'm that weird bird. I'm like, if I go to see somebody playing a gig or something, I want to hear original music. I don't want to. I don't want to hear covers. You know?
I get you, man. I'm the same way because we hear those covers all the time. And like,
right.
On one hand, yeah, you can do a cover well and make it interesting, and that's cool. But like, we hear these songs, especially we gig. That's what we do. So
yeah,
to hear something original is great. I love it.
Yeah, and the more I get familiar with your original stuff, the more I like it, man. So
Awesome.
keep writing songs and putting stuff out, man. That's
I'm
that.
trying. I got to tell you, especially with the whole family thing and the 9 to 5 job and stuff, it's so hard for me to find the time to write. So like I went on a spurt and I wrote like a dozen songs in a year, and I was happy with that. That was a pretty decent pace. And since the pandemic, I mean, I've written maybe like, I don't know, 5-6 songs, 3 of which I'm happy with. So it's so hard. I want to get back into it. I haven't been focusing, with the exception of that last song, I haven't been focusing on writing much in the last several months. And I know I need to get back to it.
Yeah, I've kind of been the same way. It's like, for a while there, it was the pandemic was a key to, like, all right, start writing and, take this time and do the things that you need to do with your music. And then after that, you kind of lose a little bit of the motivation, I think. And
yeah, oh, absolutely. I agree. Yeah. And, and for me, once the pandemic hit, because before the pandemic, I mean, I've been working from home, 100% in my job the last 3-4 years now. So nothing changed for me as far as that goes. But then suddenly that time that I had to myself to focus on writing was gone, because now I had my wife home every day and my 2 kids home every day. And my wife and I had to work and take care of our kids. And so I was exhausted. I didn't have the energy. I didn't want to sit down and write because I was tired. It was so hard.
Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, I didn't have any of that stuff to deal with, so, but, I can imagine what people with a family were going through with the kids being home and all that stuff. It had to be difficult.
Yeah, it was tough, man. But at the same time, I get not the lack of motivation too, because if you don't have something driving you, and like when you're gigging constantly and putting out music constantly, you have that drive. You have that momentum. You keep going.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden that stops, it's like, well, all right, well, I guess I can just sit here and relax and do nothing. It's so hard to get yourself into that mindset again.
Yeah, because the mindset is, I have all this time. I don't really need to rush this.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, until like 6 months have gone by and you're like, shit, I haven't done anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of gigs, how did your thing go with Eastern Wine Project?
That was great. Yeah, I love playing there. That's probably one of my favorite. I've got a few favorite venues in the Valley. In fact, most of them are right there in Easton, especially in the Silk Mill. I love playing Eastern Wine Project because they're always pretty packed, and the crowd's usually very good. But I enjoyed that. Now, fortunately, I'm really happy about this. So I used to have a monthly stint at Bosergeist, and then the pandemic hit, and I haven't played there since March of last year. It's been over a year since I played there, and I just got word that they are now having musicians back. I think they're starting again. So my May is kind of booked up as of now, but starting in June, I'll be there once a month again. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, that's good that your May's booked up. That's a good thing.
Yeah. May's pretty busy for me. Yeah, and again, busy for me is like 4, 5, 6 gigs. That's busy for me. If I was, if I could gig, 2-3 days a weekend, every weekend, that would be amazing. But I can't do that to my wife. I think she'd kill me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
At some point in time, she's going to want a little help with the kids.
yeah, probably, yeah.
And she's going to want you
But
home for dinner, like every now and then. So,
exactly, yeah. But interestingly enough, I am planning my first wedding in next weekend, not this coming one.
cool.
So yeah, that was cool. Somebody saw, so a couple that's getting married, they saw me at Bacon Fest 2019. So I did my set and I got done and they came up to me and said, "Hey, do you do weddings?" I was like, "Well, I've played a couple songs at friends' weddings here and there, but I'd be open to it." And they're like, "We love your stuff. We love to have you play the wedding." So it's really cool. So I'm playing their ceremony. They're doing a couple songs that I suggested to them that I really liked that I thought would fit their style. But then they're also using one of my songs as their first dance song, which I thought was really cool.
Wow.
So like
cool.
their song as a couple is my song, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be a great feeling. No doubt about that.
It is, man. Yeah, that was something I would have never expected doing, and so to be able to do that and to play it live for them, that's so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Now, I hope everything goes real well for you that day. That's for sure.
Thanks. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
Very cool.
That's kind of like that's a big deal for somebody like you and I. For something
absolutely.
Like
oh my god, yeah. Well, when you spend so much time and you put your heart into creating something, we want to be able to share that with the world and to have people like it, and to have somebody like it so much that they want to have it be like the most important part of their lives. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if anything else ever happens with that song. At least I can say, you know what, that song is someone's wedding song, and that's cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome, definitely. So play something else for us.
I will. In fact, I'll play that song.
Cool. Now that we talked about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a sappy little love song that I wrote for my wife. Probably about a year and a half ago, I want to say. It's called "With You." Seven days and nights we stayed up past the sun. We didn't know it yet. This life had just begun. Can it be this way anymore? It's not hard to see that I believe you want to stay. Can we just start over? And I want to tell you, nothing simple, I know. It's you and me now. So come and sit here, darling. 'Cause I'm right where I should be, alone with you. We stay in bed for days and scared ourselves on Halloween. Oh, how our lives have changed for the better, even though it's hard to see. Oh, can it be the same anymore? Love is all you need, and yes, I believe you want to stay. Can we just start over? And I want to tell you, nothing simple, I know. It's you and me now. So come and sit here, darling. 'Cause I'm right where I should be, alone with you. With you and I know it's hard to let no denying that we're still trying, and I just wanna grow with you, with you, with you. You don't wanna say we just start over, and I wanna tell you nothing's simple, I know. It's you and me now, I'm still gonna seek you, darling, 'cause I'm right where I should be. I'm alone with you. All alone with you. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful song.
Thank you.
Proud musician moment. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, no, I was very happy with it. And sometimes it's just, for me, again, back to this whole, if it comes to you quickly, I find it's really good. But also having inspiration to write something is also, really, really helpful. Because oftentimes I'll get, a melody or, what have you. I'll get something that pops in my head. But if I can't get the lyrics, if the lyrics won't come out naturally to me, chances are that song's gonna sit on the burner and just sit until I get something that fits. For me, my wife inspires me a lot. So for me, it was really easy to sit down and write a song for her.
Cool. And so you have an inspiration to write happy love songs, and
I do. But you know what? It's funny. I went through a phase 2 years ago. And this was probably when I started. Maybe 3 years ago. It's probably about the time I started getting back into songwriting, when a lot of the songs that I was putting out weren't that, pretty hopeful. They, a lot of sad stuff that I was just dealing with internally at the time in my personal life. And so, the stuff, if you go back, 2-3 years, some of the stuff that I wrote then and listen to some of the stuff that I'm writing now, tonally, while the music I think is still nice music, but the tonal, the tone of the song itself is very different. The stuff that I'm writing now is much more upbeat, is real happy kind of fun stuff, and the stuff that I was writing before was much more emotional. I think material.
Yeah, mine are I'm the king of the breakup song, I guess. So.
There you go. Well, it's funny. I'm sure there's a joke out there for musicians that if you're in a relationship and you break up, it's oh, that's material.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, really.
The best thing to come out of a bad relationship is a few good songs.
There you go.
And I joke and say, so my last relationship, I got about 110. No.
Hi. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we've all been through one of those relationships too. So,
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Unfortunately. It happens. It is. You get over it, you move on, and you write a bunch of songs about it. So.
Exactly.
if you're a songwriter,
of course, hey,
if you're an auto mechanic,
I'm convinced that's what's worked for Taylor Swift this whole time. She, no knocking her. I know she went through a bunch of high-profile, stubby relationships, but man, she keeps putting out hit after hit, and I'm convinced because of all those relationships.
Who's that?
Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
my God.
No doubt about it.
No,
her relationships are her inspiration.
Right.
Too much. It's who's she dating now? Okay.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, it changes with the wind. But you know what? Again, her music, man. She's a queen of the songwriting. I'm convinced.
Yeah, you just go, hey, 6 months from now, she's gonna have a new album out.
Exactly. Yep.
New relationship, new album coming.
That's right.
Here we go. Oh man, I hope those days are over for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to say they're over for me too, man.
Yeah. Cool. That's good. Yeah. That's a great thing. So now you can write those sappy love songs and
exactly.
proud of them. So
back in that mode.
Hey, you never know. you might get somebody else that wants you at their wedding and play one of your new songs that you haven't written yet.
Exactly. I know it's a cool experience. I'm really
Yeah.
happy to be a part of it.
Cool. So, any gigs coming up like in the next couple of weeks, or I know
Uh,
you said the wedding 2 weeks from now, but
so the next gig that I have coming up, I think this is about 3 weeks away now. But I'm playing Mayfair.
oh,
So
okay,
Mayfair is back. I know last year they just did it virtually. I performed virtually for Mayfair, but this year it's going to be in person on the campus, right here in Allentown, and I'm playing on Friday. I think it's the 22nd. I'm playing Friday the 22nd from 4:15 to 5:15. I'm like one of the very first performers.
cool. All right. So that's the next gig you have locally then.
That's the next gig, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? No, I lied. My date is wrong. So I'm playing the 22nd, but it's a Saturday, and that's at Blue Ridge Winery in Sailorsburg.
Gotcha.
That's they're having it's like the third or fourth annual wine and music festival. So I'm playing that from 12 to 1. And then the following Friday, which I think is the 27th or the 28th, I'm playing at Mayfair.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely won't be able to catch you, but hopefully you'll have good gigs.
Hopefully somebody can. You know what? Honestly, it's interesting. I only have probably a handful of people that I would consider regulars that come to a lot of my gigs. But
Right. Yeah.
for the most part, I find my regulars are the staff, people working at the restaurants, pubs, wineries, wherever I'm playing. We play these gigs at these establishments so often that they come to know us and know our material and our style and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it's always cool when the staff will like nod along and like take a video or like say something afterwards, like, "Hey, that was really cool," because like chances are they're probably not saying that to everybody that plays there. So like when they do,
Right.
that's a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's a good thing, especially the ones where you play like once a month, and we have a couple of those places, and I mean, even some of the regulars that hang out there, get to know you and get to a situation where they try to stump you with requests, like
Yep.
tell them, well, we'll take requests, and they'll come up with some obscure song that I'll bet you don't know how to play this, and we'll look at each other and go, yeah, we do. We got that.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I'm not very good at that. I will
Yeah.
say my general knowledge of, especially in this area, it's a lot of classic rock. So I don't listen to a lot of classic rock. I mean, unless you tell me, unless you're talking Beatles, I probably don't know a lot of it. Or like Billy Joel. Like that's my extent. Billy Joel and John, Beatles. That's about it as far as the classic rock as I get.
Yeah, I've been playing with a friend of mine as a duo for the last couple of years, and what's really cool with if you asked me to play a song, I might have 100 or so songs in my repertoire that I could play right off the top of my head. Mark has like 600, so it's
wow. That's great. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the older musicians that have been playing this area for years, they all I find are kind of in that same boat. Like my father-in-law, he's been a keyboardist for hire. He plays in a lot of different bands, and he's the same way. I mean, he probably can rattle off a few hundred songs on keyboard just off the top of his head. I mean, I can't do. My repertoire is probably about half of what yours is.
Yeah. But I'll get a request and I'll be like, I don't know that song. And Mark will go, yeah, I know that. And I'll be like, okay, what key? I'll follow.
Yeah, I'll follow along. And you're predominantly doing the duo gigs now, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's good, man. People, it adds to the sound and it adds to your repertoire. You can play a lot.
Right. Absolutely. And we're starting to incorporate the original stuff too. So, which is a good thing. So.
Yeah, that's great. I always throw out I have maybe 3 originals that I throw out at almost every gig, but then there's those few gigs that certain venues where the crowd is more into that kind of stuff, and so those ones I'll throw out a few more. But it's always cool being able to throw out an original song and to get feedback from a crowd. Yeah,
it's a little bit more difficult when you're playing with somebody else and you're a perfectionist when it comes to your song, so. We'll rehearse it, and I'll be like, yeah, we're not playing that tomorrow night because we're not doing it right. And they'll be like, "What am I doing wrong?" I'll explain it later. We're not playing it tomorrow night.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
So not until we get it right. So
Oh,
it is what it is.
Yeah,
It's fun stuff.
it is.
So you talked about doing a cover. What cover were you gonna do?
So interestingly enough, it's funny. In fact, I was talking with a local bass player, a guy named Sean Kavanaugh. Sean, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's a cool guy. I was chatting with him recently. He and I started becoming good friends, and I played the one Petty song, the Won't Back Down. I played that for him, and I said to him, I was like, I'm not really a Petty fan. Like, I know a lot of the songs, but I'm not really a Petty fan. My wife is. My wife loves Petty, so I learned that song, and then I started just randomly several weeks ago. I got this idea to do another Petty song, and so I covered that song. And Sean commented on one of my posts and said, like, "Oh, I thought you said you weren't a Petty fan." He's like, "You're doing an awful lot of Petty songs." So I'm gonna do Free Fall, and I do like a slower rendition of Free Fall, and I cut out one of the verses. Which definitely gives it a different feel. And I want to record this one as well soon, just on grand piano, just like grand piano and vocals, maybe some strings. To really keep it kind of mellow. But I really like how this one turned out, so I'm gonna play this one.
Cool.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and America too. She's a good girl, she's crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and boyfriends too. It's a long day, living in a receipt up, and there's freedom way, running through the yard, and I'm a bad boy. He said, don't even miss her, and I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. And all the vampires walking through the valley, move west down Ventura Boulevard. And I'm a bad boy, 'cause I'm standing in shadows. And all the good girls are home with broken hearts. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. Oh, now I'm free falling, 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 free falling, but free falling. Oh, I'm free, free falling. Oh no, oh, free falling. I'm free, free falling. Oh.
That's a pretty cool take on that song, actually.
Thanks, thank you. Yeah,
I like when singer songwriters take a song, you know, a popular song, and just kind of make it their own. And that's obviously what you did with that one, and that's pretty cool.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I try to do that more often than not. I mean, now you catch me at a gig somewhere, and most of the cover songs that I do, I'm going to say the majority of them sound just like they do on the recording. With the exception of, you know, many of them, like I'll take a guitar song and I'll put it on piano. Piano's my main instrument. But you know, every now and then there are certain songs that I like putting a spin on. You know, it depends on the song. It depends on the style of the song. But, you know, it's really easy to take an upbeat song and to tone it down and to make it really, like, personal. I mean, that's one of the more easier things to do. Or on top of that, you know, the exact opposite. You take a slow song and you make it fast.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I find that's a little bit harder, though.
I agree.
For me, at least, anyway.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I know, like ska bands. That's a very popular thing to do. But that's the style of ska. I mean, it's very upbeat, it's very fast, very punctuated in terms of dynamics. So yeah, that's kind of more their thing. But it's yeah, that's definitely harder.
Yeah, I find it's much easier to tone something down than it is
Absolutely
to pick it up. So
yeah,
I don't do much petty myself. So that we do two songs, and we do Mary Jane's Last Dance and Free Fallin', and we medley them together. So
oh, cool. Okay, yeah,
one of those.
I do have a couple Beatles songs. I medley. Which ones do I do? I medley Martha, My Dear, which is like a B-side. I do that one with Fool on the Hill. Because the keys that I played in then just kind of match up.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what happened with those two Petty songs, and then people keep asking for more Tom Petty, and I keep saying, okay, we gotta work on a couple more things, but
yeah,
I guess neither one of us was a great big Tom Petty fan, so.
That's the boat that I was in too, but for whatever reason, I you know, those two songs I'm happy playing.
Yeah, and it's not like I think Tom Petty's horrible or anything like
no,
that. I mean,
no,
not at all. It's just not something that I listen to on a regular basis, you know.
Exactly, yeah, you know, and for me, I've always been like a singer first and a musician second. So
yeah.
For me, if I'm not a big fan of the vocalist, I won't care for the music all that much. If I don't like the vocals, I don't care about the rest. And for me, I've never loved Petty's voice. I don't think he's a bad singer. I just don't love his tone. It turns me off a little bit. That's why but I like his songwriting. He's a great songwriter. The songs that he put out were very good. I just was never a huge fan of the singing.
Yeah. I'm kind of that way with Bruce Springsteen at the moment, so.
Yeah.
It's like there's one guy that comes to almost every show that we do, and he's always asking for Springsteen, and he always wants to hear Glory Days.
Simply Unlimited plan from Google.
And I keep saying,
power. You beat deep in the.
What is that?
Uh-oh.
Okay. You know, I keep saying if we play Glory Days one more time, it's gonna make my ears bleed. Can we pick something else? You know, like.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, the classic, like, oh, Freebird or Stairway.
Yeah.
I get it.
My response to Freebird lately has been, keep yelling that, pal, and I'm going to play it. Then what are you going to do?
Nothing to yell about then.
Because really, like, who wants to hear Freebird on an acoustic guitar?
Yeah, I know. It's become like a meme, like a joke at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
exactly.
That's half the reason why people shout it.
It's like the whole appeal of that song was always that 10-minute lead guitar solo at the end.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think people know the words to Freebird. Like,
Probably
there aren't any. No, but we're going to yell Freebird at a guy playing an acoustic guitar. Yeah, let me rip that off for you.
Sure, yeah.
I do that triple lead at the end all by myself, too. Watch.
Yeah, it'll sound fine.
Yeah. People. Freebird. Gotta love it.
I know.
There's no way I want to play that song.
Yeah, no, same. There are certain bands, certain genres, certain songs that I won't touch. Like, I won't play any country. I just won't. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like doing it, and if that's a reason for someone to not hire me, then I'm fine with that. It's okay.
We got a few country songs on the list, and it's only like for certain venues, and I'll write up a set list for the night, and then I'll write down some extras at the end, and I'll be like, okay, we're playing at such and such a venue. They might ask for country. I'll write down like 3 country songs as extras, and if they don't ask for them, they ain't getting them.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Is what it is. They're not going on the set list. They're just, you know, they're extras in case somebody does ask. But yeah, I'm the same way with country. I'm not a big fan. I don't listen to it much. I used to actually listen to it a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. See, for me, again, it's a singing thing. I can't get past the twang. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do it. There's like 2 country artists that I can think of that I'm okay with. Garth Brooks. For whatever reason, I don't mind Garth Brooks. I don't necessarily love all the songs, but I'm okay with Garth Brooks as an artist. But more recently, Chris Stapleton. That guy has a voice. His Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh my God, his voice, incredible. Like, I don't mind the country sound of it because he's one of the best singers that I think that's out there right now.
Right. And I like Keith Urban because he's an incredible guitar player.
There you go.
And he's not really country.
No, yeah, he's kind of like borderline, and there are some country artists that like.
He's that country rock crossover, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, or like that country like pop cross. Like that's what Taylor Swift did. I mean, she was country until suddenly she was a pop artist, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you listen to Keith Urban's guitar solos, and you're like, yeah, that's not a country artist. That's
right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, he is an incredible guitar player, so I give him props for that.
Yeah.
Hey man, wow! I didn't realize how late it was getting.
I know. Yeah, look at the clock. I can't believe.
We got to get some more music out of you, man.
Okay. All right. I will. Let me do another original. This one. I've already recorded most of it. Anthony Cubbage is currently working on producing it a little bit for me. But this one will be on my album. Back to
cool.
Time. This is a song called "Stay." Turn away a blind eye cannot see. Following a cold undying star. Drifting off the trail of every sea. And oh, I want to keep you safe right next to me. Stumble blindly down this road before. A harbinger clandestine apathy. Haunted by the ghost of what we were. These chemicals reacting perfectly. Stay, it's not the same. Afraid to be okay, but stay with me. Stay awake with me. Out of the fire, into dark, hidden away from where we are tonight. I'll be your light now again. Oh, you pissing me off, me off. 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 Whoa, 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 stay with me.
out of sight, into the dark, getting away from where we are tonight. We'll be alright tonight. Why be a light now?
Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
You know, most of the people who come on the show, I mean, they're not hard to talk to, but there's some people that I get on every now and then that you could sit and talk music with all night long. And you're like that guy.
Thank you.
I can sit here and talk music with you all night long. But, you know, that takes away from you playing the music. And unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess it defeats that purpose. But yeah, no, I get it, man. I'm the same way. I would sit and chat music with you all night. In fact, the same thing happened to me. I was on Sean Cavanaugh's new YouTube show that he's got going on, Sipping with Sean, and the same thing with him. Like, it was the first time that Sean and I ever really sat down and talked. But afterwards, they were like, man, we could sit and talk for hours just talking music.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. It's nice getting to sit down and talk to guys that do this and you know, not only do this for a living, but do this because it's their passion and because they're good at it too. And you have the industry knowledge and just the musicianship and the knowledge of songwriting and how the instruments work together. Like, it, you know, because you can find, I mean, there are millions of people that can sit and play guitar, but that doesn't mean that they know shit about music or that they, you know, understand it or can feel it or know anything about songwriting. So it's always nice to sit down and be able to, you know, talk to somebody like you. It's great.
Yeah. I wish I knew more about music theory and stuff. It's something that, you know, I never studied. So, you know, I was taking piano lessons when I was a kid, and it was more like my mom wanted me to take piano lessons. So I didn't want to take piano lessons. My mom wanted me to. So I hated it.
Yeah,
and the minute I could get out of it, I got out of it. And I was like, no, I just always wanted to play the bass guitar. That's what I wanted to do. So why am I taking piano lessons? And
I get it, man. You know, and that's a generational thing, you know, because it was the same thing for my mom and her sisters. My grandmother, she was the same way. She's like, you need to learn an instrument. You should do this. And so they all learned piano. But, you know, I think we've kind of laxed that a little bit. You know, for me, when I was 5, I wanted to learn the drums. I was like, I'm going to play drums. It's going to be great. And my brother had just started learning electric guitar. So that was his thing. But then when one day I went to, that was because I was little, I went with my mom to one of my brother's lessons at a center in Hackettstown, New Jersey. And I heard a piano being played, like, for the first time, like, in front of me. And I was like, oh, what's that? That's really, I like how that sounds. Yeah. And I'm so happy that I did, man. It's one of those instruments that, like, you know, there are guitar players everywhere, but you can't find, especially in this area, keyboardists were few and far between. So it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom could sit at the piano and play for hours, and I wanted to play the guitar. So why are you making me take piano lessons?
Yeah, well, you know, for me, you know, similarly, my piano teacher, she wanted me to focus on learning classical music. And I learned some classical songs, but I was like, man, I want to just learn, like, Billy Joel. And that's what I did. And, like, I'm happy about it on one hand because that's my style. But on the other hand, like, my technical ability isn't where I would like it to be because I didn't study all that classical or jazz or something like that. So I'm not like a soloist. I mean, I can play, but I'm not like a soloist by any means.
Yeah. Yep, me either. And, you know, I probably could have done a lot better if I'd continued to study, but...
I get it. Yeah. But you know what? But the thing is, but you still understand, like, you might not have, like, the theory knowledge, but that doesn't mean that you don't understand music.
Oh, yeah, right.
And that's the thing, you know, because, again, you live it, man. You've been doing this for years.
Yeah. And definitely. And you gain that knowledge just by doing it and trying different things. And, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, you never stop learning. It was
No,
just a slower process with me. That's all. So, you got one more in you?
Yeah. I could do something.
I know we're running past 9 o'clock, but there's nobody on after me, so we
Okay,
can do
all
one
right.
more song.
Yeah, let me do one more. Let me see. See what song I want to play.
See, I'm being greedy now. I don't want to let you go without playing another song.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Let me see what other original I can do. Ooh, guitar's out of tune. There we go. All right. This is a song. I probably wrote the song about 10 years ago now. But I'm probably going to re-record it because I'm not happy with how the recording turned out. Again, I recorded this one at an analog studio, and I didn't get the effects that I wanted on it. I also had some string players play on it, and they didn't play it the way that I heard it in my head. But I don't know how to play violin or cello or anything, so I didn't know how to tell them how to play it.
Yeah.
So it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. But I'm going to probably re-record this one. But this is a song called Say Love. Start this over, 'cause it's plain to see that your heart is sober, so won't you bear me down tenderly? No, nothing comes easy, and if Murphy's law is right, no, it'll never come easy, so let's keep holding on tonight. Say what's on your mind, in the dark. Still have lots of time, but I seem gone too far. You see it's in my eyes that there's nothing more I'd rather hear you say. Say the love. I'm following blindly to where who really knows. Because all that you say, how simply you can say, I don't know. It's so easy, this life are coming up empty, while feeling times it's all I can take. See what's on your mind, leave me in the dark. We don't need lots of time because we got this far. I see it in your eyes that there's nothing more you'd rather wish to say. Say love. Say love. Just say love. Just say love. Let's start this over before the love gets colder. Let's only move forward. I wanna hear just one word. Say love.
Great, man.
Cool, thanks, man.
Thank God for the mute button. Twice tonight, while you were playing a song, the guy went up and down the street on a motorcycle.
Oh wow!
And then just now, when you and I'm sitting here with my windows open, and just now, a train came through, and my microphone was picking him up, and I'm getting a message on the screen like, unmute yourself. No, that's why I'm muted.
Right.
You know, you'd had a motorcycle going through right in the middle of your song,
Oh yeah, it'd be fun.
and then a train whistle.
Funny enough, on on one of my older recordings, from mid late 2000s, I did a song, a really long song. It's probably like a 10-minute long song that I wrote using a looper. So the whole thing is just a bunch of loops with guitar, keys, and vocals and stuff. But if you listen towards the end, it might not sound like it, but there's definitely a guitar. A motorcycle that's in there, that's in the mix that got picked up. And it just kind of sounds like a drone, like a weird kind of like bassy kind of drone to it. So like it worked. It didn't really affect it, but it's there.
Yeah, I think the train whistle might have affected this last song. So
yeah, probably.
Yeah. So thankfully I had it muted. Cool. Well, Ben, thanks so much for being on again.
Absolutely, Rob.
It was an absolute pleasure to have you. We got through the whole show tonight, which is great. So,
yeah, I'm happy to do this whenever you want. I love being able to sit and chat music with you.
Cool. Sounds good. And we'll have to arrange another time.
Sounds great.
Definitely. All right. I appreciate it. Next week, I got Bill Meacham on. And then the following week, coming at us from Colorado is Taylor Shea. So please tune in the next couple of weeks. 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, Artist Spotlight with Ralph. Tonight it's been Ben Anderson. And Ben, thank you, Ben Tyler Music. Oh, yeah, Ben Tyler Music is where you can find him on Facebook. Talk about your other social media stuff real quick so that people know where to find it.
So I'm really focusing a lot on Instagram. So for a while, people were telling me, get on Instagram. And so I finally did. And thankfully, since you can sync your Instagram post with Facebook, I can post, both places at the same time. So I've really been focusing on Instagram, but you can find me anywhere on social media. Just search Ben Tyler Music. That's my handle for Instagram. That's my YouTube channel page. That's my Facebook page. I think it's Ben Tyler Music page for Facebook. But yeah, search me Ben Tyler Music. You can find me that way.
Fantastic. Do you have a website or no?
I do. BenTylerMusic.com.
Cool. All right. There you go.
Keep it consistent.
And anything out on Spotify or Apple Music or anything?
Yeah, I've got 2 singles that you can find on Spotify, on Apple Music, on iTunes, on Google, on Amazon Music. Just search Ben Tyler.
Cool. All right, Ben, again, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. And we'll see everybody next Wednesday night on Artist Spotlight with Ralph, if I learn how to talk between now and then. There we go. Artist Spotlight with Ralph. That's it. All right. Everybody have a great night. Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ralph. Take it easy.
Gotta keep the fire burning. Chase your dream, don't hesitate. Keep on dreaming, keep on yearning. Don't let the flame die while you